How's it going, guys? Today we've got a little bit of downtime while I'm waiting for some packages to arrive so we can keep working in the back. So instead of sitting on our hands, we're gonna make the most of this time and do what we can to spruce up the outside and make it look like a brand new van. Today we're gonna be spraying the grey bumper and wheel rims into a nice black, as well as giving the faded headlights a bit of attention to make them pop. This, in conjunction with having the windows tinted, is gonna make the van look rather sleek and stylish, and I think quite eye-catching. Now, before we can do any of these jobs, the first things first, we gotta spend a little bit of elbow grease and get this puppy clean, so let's get into it. As you can see, the van's been rather neglected in the time I've had it, so I'm really looking forward to polishing this up and getting it a lot tidier. The very first thing I've done to spruce up the exterior of the van was a job that I didn't even have to do myself. I've gone out and got the darkest legal tint available on my van, and I already think it makes a huge difference in the overall look of the vehicle. For this job, the best quote that I got was through Complete Windscreens in Adelaide. They quoted me $450 to do every single window on the van. So my reasoning for getting the windows tinted wasn't just aesthetics, it's also going to add a bit of value to the van in both temperature control and security. One of the obvious downsides of having a van that's all windows means that even in average sun, when it hits the windows, it's going to act as a greenhouse and basically cook you from the inside out. So by getting a tint that's 99% UV reflective, that's going to make a massive difference in keeping the heat from the sun out and making my environment nice and cozy. I also want to feel safe and like I'm not being watched while I'm out camping, so the darker the windows are, the better that is for my peace of mind. For such a simple, easy job, I think getting the windows tinted is an absolute no-brainer. Get it done. It looks fantastic. It's going to keep you safe from the eyes of peeping toms, as well as making your internal space feel even cozier. Now on to the next job. With the car all washed and clean, we can finally go ahead and start painting. To protect our white areas from overspray, we're just going to be using some painter's tape and a little bit of newspaper. That should do the trick. Now, before we spray anything, I'm just going to quickly wipe down the bumper and rims with some methylated spirits to cut any of the grease and have a nice surface to bond to. We've got about half an hour to make this happen before I'm in the dark. So let's get cracking. Here's how it's looking after the first round. The sun's all but gone down though, so I reckon we're going to be doing the last two in the dark. But at least we've got a start on it, and that's one less job to do in the future. So just before it gets too dark, I want to quickly mention I've snuck some paper in behind the holes here to protect my radiator. Just take a moment to appreciate just how detailed we've gone with getting all of this nice and covered up. I'm extremely confident that this will come out looking pretty good. We now have our freshly painted bumper, so all that's left to do back here is to remove the newspaper, and hopefully that comes up looking pretty nice. With the tape off, you can now see how that bumper's looking with a fresh coat of paint, and I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Just darkening up those plastic bumpers and the wheels makes the van look a whole lot more sleek and elegant, and I think it takes a couple years off it as well. So the final simple thing that we're going to do today to make the exterior of the vehicle pop a little bit is going to be defogging these headlights. Now, to do this, it's honestly quite simple. All we're going to use is a little bit of toothpaste. This is my first time attempting this, but I've seen some good results online, so we'll have a go and you'll be able to see the results with me. Alright, so first things first, just going to wipe this down with some minimal turpentine. Now for the moment of truth, I'm just going to get some toothpaste on this rag and rub it in, and hopefully in 10 minutes these headlights are starting to sparkle. Now I'm going to hit it with the abrasive brush, and that should work it in, make it look a bit nicer. I'm going to apply a little bit more. Alrighty. Come back in 10 minutes, take that off, and see if that's done the trick. So now with the toothpaste off, you can see it's worked quite well in some areas. Around the top here, that looks a lot nicer, but through the middle, Still looking quite foggy, unfortunately. And with just a couple of simple jobs, I think it now looks a whole lot better. It cost me $500 to get every window tinted, and the paint cost for the rims and bumpers was only about an extra $100. So for $600, we've taken this van from looking a bit worn and shabby to something really quite sleek and tidy. I'm going to quickly run you through the paints I use so you can hopefully create the same look on your van at home. So for the rims of the car, I've used Plasti dip. It's about 35 bucks a can, and honestly, it's the perfect product to use on your wheels. It goes on nice and thick, and it's a very durable product, so you don't have to worry too much about scratching it or being careful when you're giving your car a wash. And it's also super easy to touch up. If you do strip any of the paint or just want to give it a fresher coat in a couple months, you can literally spray right over the existing coat and still get a really good result. Now for the bumpers, I was initially going to use Plasti dip as well, but I had someone in the auto shop recommend for me dupli-color trim and bumper paint, and honestly, I'm really glad that they did. This right here is a perfect product for your bumper. It's a paint rather than a dip, so it goes on super easy, and it's also half the price of a Plasti dip can, and I think it goes a lot further. The other great thing I found is that it only really wants to bond with the plastic, so any areas of overspray I had came off really easy with some mineral turpentine, so cleanup isn't really something you have to worry about, and it's a super easy product to use. So there's a couple super easy steps I've done to make my van look a whole lot better. The last thing I want to do for it is track down a new Ford badge to replace this. But outside of that, it's cost me $600 and a weekend to take my van from just a regular old looking bus to something really quite sleek and tidy. If you found this video useful, leave me a like to show your support for the channel, subscribe to follow along with the rest of my van build, and if you have any questions, anything you want me to clarify further, or just want to chat van builds in general, feel free to leave me a comment. And outside of that, I hope you're all having a wonderful afternoon. See ya.